Hey there everyone, it's Juan here from SwitchWatch, back with another review. Today it's a game called Starlink Battle for Atlas, which was kindly provided by Ubisoft for review purposes. Now before I get into this review, we have made another video covering a lot of your questions in relation to can you play the game with a Pro controller, do you need the toys to play the game? So I'll link that at the end of this one, but let's get into this review to find out whether it's worth your hard-earned cash. Let's get into it. So it's important to note in Starlink Battle for Atlas that the Switch version has a dedicated story campaign for Fox McCloud, which involves you trying to decipher where your arch nemesis Wolf O'Donnell is hiding to take him down, and I really enjoyed taking part in these exclusive missions. Now the main story is your traditional bad guy Grax looking to take over the universe using all sorts of means to accomplish it, including kidnapping a member of the crew. Now Grax is on the verge of unlocking information in relation to an extinct alien race, whilst also discovering their technology which has devastating power to destroy, and it's up to the Alliance to bring Grax and his insane plan down. Now there are a number of characters that you can choose from, however these are locked unless you purchase them. None of them really interested me other than Fox McCloud, which I got with the starter pack, and that's the thing with this version of the game on the Nintendo Switch. I assume most people would choose to be Fox, such as the strong affinity to the character, and I certainly was no different. I'm not sure the game would have the same pull had Fox not been included, and I wonder how people will feel about the remaining characters, especially here and on the other consoles. I felt they were slightly generic. They did grow on me further as I got further into the campaign. The story is told well enough, and the campaign will take you through a journey to save the universe. It's all voice acted as well, and Ubisoft has sprinkled their usual polish within the cutscenes. Now you probably want to know what happens when you change the character, and does it affect the story in any way? Not at all. In terms of the cutscenes, it's told in a way where the characters are all quite important within the story and they each have their own part to play. Mostly the character you choose is so you can have the avatar on screen and listen to them chat to other crew members while in battles or flying about from time to time. To be fair, it is done well, and I do love the animation which plays when changing characters, especially when done with the physical toy. So, onto the gameplay then. Starlink Battle for Atlas is an open world space exploration game and one of the largest that Ubisoft have ever created. You choose your character, ship and weapons loadout, a max of 2 on each ship, and you're ready to explore the 7 planets which are available. Each planet has its own unique look and difficulty, but the basis of what you do on each is similar. If you want to take control of the planet from the Legion, which is a large operation consisting of building a network of outposts, which can be a combination of observatories which reveal a portion of the map, refineries which generate electrum, which is the game's currency, workshops to craft quality mods for your ships, and armories to defend the planet from enemies when you're away from it. Now with each imp hive that you take down, they can be turned into an outpost belonging to you, the more you begin making inroads into taking over the planet. Within each planet there are a number of side quests along with the main campaign quests, which involve going from point A to point B, scanning some of the planet's wildlife, or defending or taking out some of the planet's outlaws. Each mission completed gains you valuable experience for your chosen character and resources which can be used importantly to purchase upgrades. To the side of that, some of the stuff that you can do does not even require questing, but just exploration of sites. Visiting sites within the planets like abandoned prisons or wrecks can often lead you to find loot, which can then be taken back to the observatories you have built to be traded in for some nice rewards like rare mods and cash. Now with each of the campaign missions completed, the story will move along, and when you choose to do this is of course up to you. You could ignore all of the side quests if you wanted to and focus on the main campaign, which will take you around 20 or so hours. I naturally found myself getting hugely distracted, such was the addictive nature of this game, and having the Legion continuously fight back against us allies. I would do well to take over a planet only for the Legion to fight back, which would end with me retaliating again and playing the cat and mouse game. Each planet's status is handily shown with a status bar, and I would not be happy unless I was on 100%. In fact, when the game is complete and the credits do roll, there is still some endgame to play as the game becomes more of a meta game. The world continues on and new challenges will still appear. I expect future DLC to support this franchise far into the future. Flying around the planets is an absolute joy, with the controls of the ship feeling tight, with the ability to invert the controls in the options if you wish. You can play the game without the toy mounted on the grip if you like. You can play with a Pro controller or in handheld mode, which is how I preferred to play. The absolute joy of being able to explore to your heart's content is fantastically well implemented. Fancy boosting along the planet's surface akin to Flight of the Navigator? Then go ahead. If you want to take to the skies and explore from a distance, why not? Hell, if you want to leave the planet and go into space, you can even do that. It's brought back so many memories of me with Flight of the Navigator film, which I must have watched over 100 times when I was a kid, and living my fantasy of space exploration certainly here. Just burning through the planet's atmosphere and into space you go, and it feels even more epic when you're up there. If you want to check out an unknown planet, then you can hyperdrive there, but beware, you can get caught in outlaw space traps who want nothing more than to pick a space fight with you. These air battles feel absolutely fantastic, and any fantasies you had when watching Star Wars for the first time are realised here. Lasers with bright colours firing towards you, having to pull off dodge manoeuvres to lose the bad guy on your tail, only for you to circle around and blast the enemy out of the air. It's just fantastic with all those barrel rolls and great fun. I could not get enough of it, and even more so piloting Fox McCloud. Now, the first day I played this, hours passed and I'd not even realised it, such was the enjoyment of this game, and we've not even spoken about the game's customisations, upgrades and its campaign missions in depth yet. Now, while the side quests can get repetitive, I still enjoyed doing them, which is a testament to how great it feels doing anything at all in this game, to be quite honest. If you visit your star map, you can pin anywhere you want to take a closer look. Toggling each mission to concentrate on is easy, and each will give you directions in where you need to go. Battling the enemy is superb fun as well, whether they're grounded imps, cyclops and giants on the planets, or space outlaws fighting you in space. Fighting on the ground is almost as much fun as air battles, and my only wish is that there were a little bit more variety within the enemies themselves on the planets, as I found sometimes that they could be, the planets themselves, a little barren, and when I did come across enemies, they mostly looked the same. The campaign missions are certainly fun, and coming across some of the larger boss battles felt epic in scope, and again, just super enjoyable. The game is challenging, and if you decide to play on hard mode, but normal mode can still be a decent enough challenge for the casual gamer. Now, customization in the game is excellent, as are all the options you have in modding your weapons and Equinox, which is a space station which governs what upgrades you can purchase. For example, if you invest in the modding bay for an extra boost slot for all your ships you own, invest in the mod foundry to clone any mod and one-of-a-kind relics, and there's plenty more where you're going to need lots of cash coming in as well. And Nova, which is harder to get and usually requires you destroying an extractor on a planet, which is always defended pretty well, or even hacking a crashed Drake, which again will require you defeating a load of enemies for the pleasure of getting Nova. Hacking is also valuable to send pertinent information to the Equinox, which can often yield information for better mods. Now, when it comes to the characters you've chosen, they will level up, and the more you play them, opening up skill points so you can invest in their skill tree. With each ship that you own, you can also have free loadouts, so you can swap in mid-battle if needed, which is nicely implemented and a great option. Swapping loadouts is advantageous, as you may want to use certain weapons against enemies who are resistant to what you currently have loaded. For example, a fire cyclops will be resistant to fire-based weapons, in which case you may want to use an ice-based elemental weapon. Now, each wing needs to have a different weapon, so you certainly can't have the same on each. I used the flamethrower and frost barrage through most of the game just because I enjoyed that combination. Some extra combinations of weapons do come in handy, but it's by no means essential, and you can certainly get by with the starter pack. Having gravity and stasis weapons is certainly fun and just gives extra options when taking out enemies. Each weapon has a number of slots that you can unlock and add mods to, such as quick shot amplifier to quicken up your fire rate. There are mods for damage, range, fire rate and energy cost, all of which can be gathered by building outposts or just by visiting planet sites and gathering materials to then take back to the outposts for rewards. Parts of the wings can even be changed within the game to give the ship extra speed, so the options are plentiful to suit everyone's playstyle. Each mod you get has a rarity status such as common, uncommon, rare, and so on. Now all of the characters have their own special moves too, with my favourite being Fox McCloud bringing in his crew for a few seconds to help you take out the enemy. And Fox McCloud's special moves brings a Corneria remix, which is just awesome.
This is gonna be fun!
This one ain't worth the trouble. Let's scram!
Uh-oh, time to go!
You can change configurations on your physical ship and the character itself on the fly if you're using the ship which attaches to the grip. While this works really well, it's just as easy to do if you don't want to have the ship attached to your pad all in game. In terms of audio, the production value in the sound department is nothing short of excellent. It's top notch in fact. First of all, every character in game is voice acted, even when just flying through space and chatting to other characters, which just gives a greater sense of immersion in the flying through space, and you get nice synth sounds. Get into a battle and the tracks have a more upbeat tempo. Sound effects make it all sound rather epic, from weapons being fired to dreadnought battles. The sound of the ship when using boost or flying into space sounds extraordinary. But my favourite part of all this was using Fox's special power up and the music which plays when all his crew come in to help. Just fantastic. Visually, I have no complaints at all about Starlink Battle for Atlas. It looks wonderful on the Switch. Of course, it's not going to compare to the PS4 version or the Xbox One for that matter, and if you're looking for high fidelity or even 4K, then you're going to need to look at buying it on those consoles. However, if you're looking for portability, then obviously the Switch is where you want to go. The colours used on each of the planets is just stunning. Whether it's flying into space and searching for planets or zooming just above the planet's plantations, the ships look immense and are brought to life in their physical versions, all in well-crafted toys, which look great in digital form too. The characters are detailed and so are the enemies. The worlds just feel pretty awesome to explore, and it's because of the visuals making it even more enticing. The most impressive aspect is how smooth the game run. I know that the developers wanted to get this at a consistent 30 frames per second, however back at E3 this wasn't happening. They've obviously done a lot of work because it is a lot smoother now. I did not encounter any slowdowns in handheld or in docked mode. I loved the way the physical toys worked and how smoothly the transitions was from changing my ship on the grip and how seamlessly that would happen on screen. Putting a weapon on backwards was always fun, as this would then happen in the game. The sense of speed within the game also and how smooth it all ran was a joy, and it has to be played to really be appreciated. A really great job here then, and the Switch handles it all brilliantly. Cutscenes are another highlight where it all looks very well detailed, with animations looking believable. So lastly then, let's talk about the value. Again, for an in-depth look at the buying options, please watch our buying guide. There's no doubt in my mind this game is worthy of being a AAA title. If you're a Fox McCloud fan, this is going to be an even harder package to pass up. And when I review a game, I always ask myself the same question. Would I be happy paying what the publisher developer is asking for? And in this case, it's a real tough one because I am genuinely torn. I'm a collector myself, so I would have expected to pay around £65 for the starter pack due to the physical game and of course the toys, which I like. In my eyes, I'm paying around £50 for the game and then some money on top for the model, which I'd be pretty comfortable with. On the other hand though, I really think there needed to be a cheaper entry price for people, for those not interested in the toy models, as asking for $69.99 for purely digital content and then an eye-watering $89.99 for the deluxe edition is a little hard to swallow, and I'm sure it will be for a lot of people. I would go for the starter kit with the toy model without a doubt. For those of you who want to collect every toy, then expect to pay over £200 quite easily. So you can see that the cost on this one is high, but I'm sure people will vote here with their wallets. It's also worth bearing in mind that the cheapest way to purchase this game digitally right now is on the American eStore, as they have bizarrely priced it with different options lower in dollars than in pounds. Again, check out our video on the buying options there. In summary then, and my verdict for this game is that Starlink Battle for Atlas is a top game. I've enjoyed it immensely and continue to do so. This may include physical models, but it is a game which can be enjoyed by adults and younger folk with no problem. It's fun, and you'll not be able to tear yourself away from it until you've at least completed the campaign. There are plenty of buying options too in terms of the physical game and models, digital only or a mix and match. The issue for me though is the price of entry is just too high. If you can afford it, then I've no doubt you'll enjoy the experience, but for the rest it may be best to see if you can get one of the physical editions when it's traded in. For me then, this is a solid 8.5 out of 10. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a thumbs up on it. If you're a new watcher here, then consider subscribing for future content, reviews, and of course, gameplay videos. You might want to hit that bell notification to get notified as soon as we release a video. And lastly, leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Are you going to purchase it? Is the price too high? Or are you just going to go all guns blazing and get this one? I certainly enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this review. My name is Juan Romero. Of course, I'll see you again on the next one.